Hi, everybody. Hey, mornings. Welcome back to Critical Mass. And today we are doing our final wrap up of what we thought of the new series for Star Trek Picard. We did one about 3 episodes in, saw how we liked it. We had mixed feelings about it, but we wanted to see more and hoped it got much, much better as it went along, as it grew, like most shows will. And we'll let you know what we thought. Well, right after this. Okay, so Picard, 10 episodes of Picard. We saw some familiar faces from Next Generation show up during the episodes at various times. Let's start off with, first off, did you like the series? Who's first?
I really, really wanted to like the series. I'll start with that.
Okay, I think we all wanted to like the series because we're all fans of the Next Generation.
Yeah, this was so far from this. Okay, so yes, the lead character was played by Patrick Stewart. They called him Picard, JC, if you will. But this was so far from the Captain Picard that we all knew from the Next Generation. This man was not a leader. He wasn't playing a leader. He was weak. He was antagonistic. He wasn't a diplomat the way that we know Jean-Luc Picard. He was not playing Jean-Luc Picard.
What did you think, Paul?
Okay, so you know the 1950s America, okay?
Yes.
You got everything was the dream time of the United States. Everybody had a nice, good-paying job, a nice house. Everything was in order the way it was supposed to be. Not everything was perfect, but it was like the classic time.
Yes.
And now fast forward to the 2020s. And you got broken down cities, bankrupt cities, you got massive crime, pollution everywhere. The golden era has taken a tumble. And that's what has happened in the Federation. You have everything used to be pristine and in order and lots of structure. And now times have changed. And the beacon on the hill has kind of crumbled. And you're seeing this represented in Picard being forced out of the Federation. And once he's outside of the military lifestyle, he doesn't know how to live. His whole reason for life was inside the structure of the Federation. And now it is not there anymore. And so for, 15 years, he's been rotting away in the countryside, and he has lost his confidence. He has lost who he was. And so, yeah, he is not the same Picard as in the Next Generation because that golden era is gone.
I understand that's where they were trying to go. That's what they were trying to do. You can't take a society that has done away with poverty, has done away with all of the woes that basically led them to World War III in the series. Like replicators and transporters and all that kind of stuff that basically voids the need for any kind of wealth or money. Okay, so now people are working in the Federation. You work at what you love to do, and that's the way they've set it up. So why they would have characters living in like makeshift trailer parks, none of that makes any sense. Since when did they start cursing in the Federation? These are...
Okay, they didn't curse because they were on primetime TV in the Next Generation.
It's
not
something
because it was the Federation.
It's something that has not ever been a part of Star Trek that they're starting to include, and it's turning me off.
Well, I don't know. Like, you can have the nice squeaky clean Next Generation episodes, but if you went and did a review on the Next Generation first season and said, this is the Star Trek I absolutely love, you'd probably be called a moron because the first season was absolute trash. this was the first season of Picard, and it was not absolute trash.
It was not great. It was not a great show.
Okay, well, obviously we have a split in ideologies here and likingness of the Picard series. So, Paul, why don't you tell us what you liked about Picard? And Mark, I'll let you afterwards tell us what you disliked about Picard.
Well, I just enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. There are some characters that kind of wore on me a little bit, like the artificial intelligence doctor who stowed away on the ship kind of thing. That was kind of, I don't know. It wore on me because she was annoying. Everything else was okay. Like, I didn't find anything wrong with it.
Every character on the show, if it was a female, it was a powerful character, or they were in power, or they were a strong character. And if you were male, you were not.
Well, the ship's captain was strong. The lady who he picks up at the trailer park, who's an alcoholic, had a lot of flaws. Yeah, it seemed like there were going to be an overwhelming number of strong women in the first couple of episodes, but then it kind of evened out as the series went along.
They have an entire planet of ninja nuns that trained the only other stowaway that they had.
Well, so does Wonder Woman. Nobody complains about that.
Okay, let's stop right here. As you can probably see by the expression on my face that I'm a little bit confused here with Paul's argument, Mark is making a point of they've introduced characters that seem to be focusing on strong women while they made the male characters really weak, including Picard himself. And Paul brings out the example of Wonder Woman, that no one complains about that, as they have an island of women in the Amazon. Of course, Wonder Woman was developed, and that is her origin story, is that she's an Amazon raised by women who abandoned the world of man because of the betrayal that happened to him, and it's all in their lore. I don't quite understand his logic here, but hey, if you do, you can let me know in the comments down below. I was caught off guard by that argument, and even Mark looks a little puzzled. What do you guys think? Do you think that was a strong argument? I would say not so much.
So does Wonder Woman what?
They have an entire island of warrior women, and nobody complains about that. So there's a secret society that is ninja women. That's okay.
That's what Wonder Woman is supposed to be about, not Star Trek. Not Star Trek. This is Star Trek. This is supposed to be equality for all.
Okay. No point in arguing that.
All right. Let's go into some of the parts and story plots. A little bit of spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, now might be a good time to turn off the video. But if you're okay with it, let's talk about some of the things. And I'll talk about some of the things that I thought was, okay, I got tired of it happening in the series. And that was 7 of 9 showing up to save the day in 3 different episodes. Like, she was like, oh, I'll just show up and I'll kill this random person to save the day and everything's okay. Or I'll just show up to do this and it saves random thing. Like, she would just show up randomly after not saying that she's heading there or they're transporting her there or anything. She would just show up. All of a sudden, she's on the cube.
She was summoned. She was summoned there.
I know, but I mean, she was summoned there. She shows up in space where Picard is being attacked by a spaceship. She destroys the other spaceship. She saves him. She showed up, and another guy has a gun being pointed to his head. All of a sudden, she just shows up in the room where he happened to be, somewhere on the biggest cube in the entire galaxy that we've ever seen. They happen to be in the exact same room together, and he saves.
Because she was summoned to him.
but it's Ex Machina after Ex Machina after Ex Machina I found throughout the like every time something needed to be happened, well, how can we, okay, it looks like it's a lot of trouble right now. 7 and 9 will show up. It just looks like that's how they wrote it.
I don't know. I thought they gave decent explanations of why things were happening.
I just felt like, why is it always her showing up? And I know she's the big reference, and I know she's part of the Borg, and so all that. But it just seemed like it. The first time, okay, there she is. All right, bye-bye. The second time, all right. Okay. The third time, I started going, okay, can somebody else grab a gun once in a while and do something? Because Picard just had to be saved every time he went.
I didn't like that she was some kind of a rented renegade when she is probably the best person they could have ever gotten to work at the Daystrom Institute with the cybernetic top minds. And she's just a renegade running all over the galaxy. She should have been at the Daystrom Institute.
Yeah, but there may be some traumatic reasons why she wouldn't want to be in that career.
Too busy showing up in random rooms, I guess.
Now, they did something in this series that every Star Trek movie and series always tends to do, and that's to build up the big battle. Here we go. Battles with the Romulans, battle with the Federation. Here we go. And it always, spoiler alert, turns into nothing. And that's every Star Trek series. I just wanted something to happen in this thing. I appreciate that Will Riker shows up at the end, and he's the captain and everything. I appreciate what was going on, but still, I wanted something to happen. I knew exactly how this was going to play out. Did anybody not know how that was going to play out when you were watching it? Did anyone say, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a war? Every single person knew the Romulans were going to withdraw, the Federation was going to save the day, and everyone's going to be okay. Everybody knew this.
Well, there is speculation that Noonien Soon Jr.'s son is Lore. I don't know if that is going to turn out to be true in season 2, but that's the speculation.
I don't know. I do have a question, though. What happened to the Romulan guy that joined forces with them on the planet?
Doesn't matter. He's a male.
He helped them attack. They stopped him, and he was the diversion, if you will. They throw the bomb, but she catches it and throws it up into the air and destroys it, and then keeps doing what she's doing. And then when everything starts to happen, he's picked up by the 2 Romulan synthetic guard guys. And then we never see him again the entire rest of the wrap-up of the show.
Well, granted, there's probably only 10 minutes after that. We have to assume that the guards took them to prison again.
Except they show something for every single character.
The heroes.
But he was part of them at the time. They joined forces, is what I'm saying. So it made it look like he was now becoming part of them.
No, he's just a martyr.
And now he like, it's almost as if they finish shooting and they go, oh, we forgot to wrap up his story. Oh, we'll do it next year, kind of thing. Or we'll think of something for him next year because we pretended or we did kill his sister. Yeah. So
I don't think that was a big deal for me. Like, I didn't care if I saw him again. He was the bad guy. The guards got him. I figured, okay, that's wrapped up. I didn't think that he was going to be a merry part of the posse now.
Well, see, when you do an enemy and the heroes teaming up together, you expect a couple things. Either they get along and they resolve the issue, or the bad guy betrays them in some way. And all this was he was stopped, and then they just kind of pulled him off to the side. They didn't take him off the platform. He was still on the platform while all this was going on because he was in other scenes. So they were just standing there holding him, and that's the last we heard of him for the entire.
Also,
it kind of annoyed me is all. I said, oh, like everybody else is wrapped up and he's not wrapped up at all.
I'd also like to mention that I didn't like that every single group was a secret faction that everybody knew about.
The Romulans, the Tal Shiar, now has another secret faction.
Yeah.
There's multiple secret factions in the Romulans now.
Everybody's a secret faction. That was getting old.
I thought they could have just done it as the Romulans, as the Tal Shiar. They didn't need to have a second secret faction in the Romulan Empire. It just,
the secret of the secret.
It did seem a little odd. Now, I will say, I did enjoy the series as it went on more than I did the first three. I did like it more. Was I I can't wait for the next episode? At no point did I ever say that during this show. But
Paul was right when he said that the pilot was a cool character. He was probably the coolest character that they had. He was like the Han Solo character.
Yeah, take the damn cigar out of his mouth once in a while when they're filming, because he has it in every scene. And it just reminds me of Hannibal from the A-Team, who always has to have that cigar in his hand in every scene. No, I don't.
That's full of obscure criticisms.
No, but I'm looking.
How'd you like Picard? It reminded me too much of the A-Team.
No, but I'm looking at that guy, and that seemed to be his. I'm going to be the tough captain guy. Arr, I got a cigar. How do you make him tough? How do you make him look like a tough, cool guy? Give him a cigar.
Okay, did you ever make that criticism about Clint Eastwood? No. You ever say, oh, the guy from A-Team, he's just doing Clint Eastwood all the time. What a stupid thing.
Let me tell you why you're an idiot right now. Clint Eastwood, when he stars in a movie, is the star of the movie, and his character can be whatever it wants. This is a character in a series with multiple people playing different roles, and everybody has their own little features that stand out. One is the girl who has her son who doesn't want to talk to him anymore, and she's an ex-alcoholic. That's her trademark. Then we have the doctor who's a spy. Then we have the Picard who used to do that. And the captain's was he smokes a cigar.
And that, Paul, is
there
why
was no other backstory for that character other than he smoked a cigar.
So did you watch every episode?
Yes, Paul, I watched every episode. You
know that he watched his captain commit suicide, and there were the two synthetic emissaries that came aboard and they had to be murdered. You knew all that backstory, and he was traumatized by that.
What I'm saying is, in every episode, his standout trait is he has a damn cigar in his mouth every single episode.
Well, he was a smoker.
It just looked like they put it there to make him look like this certain kind of person. It didn't seem like he was doing it naturally. You know what I mean? Like a person who smokes a cigar does it at particular points because they're a smoker. This person, every time he was about to do something or say an important line, that cigar came out.
I don't know. I've lived with smokers. I know what smokers are like. They always have a cigarette in their mouth.
Well, we're digressing.
they're always piloting ships.
Let's stop the 50-minute dialogue on Picard and the cigar moment.
Well, don't say stupid things then.
All I'm saying is I didn't like it. That seemed to be the only thing about him in this thing. Yes, he has his holograms his holograms had more personality than he did.
You know they were all him, right?
This one because you won't like it if I do it.
I will be editing this one because you say too many stupid things. That's staying in.
All right. Well, let's wrap it.
All right. Well, are you looking forward to season 2 after all of this?
I'm going to go back to saying exactly what I said after the first 2 or 3 episodes is I will give it a shot. Of course, I will watch it. I don't have high hopes. This series I feel could have been so much better. It just could have been. It could have been more than just one long movie. And And so, yeah, of course I'll watch it, but I don't know if I'm sitting here looking forward to it.
Okay, Paul?
I liked it. I don't know if I'm looking forward to seeing it, like waiting and anticipating. But when it comes out, I'll watch it again. I thought it was good. So.
Okay. Like I said, I thought it got better as it went along. I think they need to work on their characters because there was nobody that I walked out of this series going, I love that character. I can't wait to watch another episode. I hope I see this person, or I want to buy that t-shirt with that character on it. But you know what? I said the same thing for the first season of Next Generation. When it came out, I compared it to the original one, which is my era. And I said, well, they kind of, they made Data. Well, Data is kind of the same as Spock. And then they made this person as Dr. McCoy. So you always do those comparisons. The thing I didn't like about this one is it didn't seem like it's not a big starship, right? So you don't have these people coming in and out and interacting and guest starring and stuff like that. You have a single character maybe coming into the episode. Great. Except it reminds me now of a poor man's Firefly a bit, where you have the doctor, you have the tough, the girl represents the tough co-captain kind of thing. And then you have the leader, which is, it just seemed like a poor man's Firefly. Will I watch the next ones? Yes. Am I looking forward to it? Not nearly as much as I would say I want to see Witcher and The Mandalorian, which I think both of them were superior products, personally.
I also kind of didn't like the technology of convenience, where they actually have a magic wand that they can wave in a room and show you what the exact point that happened that they're looking for in the past.
Yeah, that was pretty lame.
Right? Like little things like that were like, you guys could have figured out a better way to tell this story.
Or the thing that repairs a ship based on your imagination.
As long as you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dumb. You want to know the dumbest thing that they did in this series? Is they no longer have push buttons and video screens. It's all holographic images. And you can put your fingers into it and you can move it around like this. I don't know about you, but I have a camera here, and if I go out of frame a little bit, it disappears. So can you imagine you're trying to do battle and you're hooked up to the hologram machine? You go like this, and
oh no.
We all know that would happen in real life. Those would never work. Come on, Captain.
Yeah. So there were little things like that took me out of the moment.
Yeah. Well, especially the magical let's build nanobots will fix everything for us. Yeah, that kind of takes us out. The hologram thing, everybody's trying that because everyone wants to look futuristic, no matter how dumb it looks.
I just think, it's fine that people don't think that it is what they were looking for. I just don't like how everybody out there is trashing it as though it's the worst thing on the planet right now. Because it was not an absolute trash fire of a series. It just wasn't what they were looking for. They wanted a carbon copy of Next Generation.
Well, not only that, a lot of people out there who have YouTube channels and stuff like that don't necessarily give their review based on how good a show is. They can sometimes give reviews based on how much clicks they could get by saying how something's bad.
I will say this. In the beginning, I was looking forward to seeing the Jean-Luc Picard that we all knew and we all loved, that made him who we wanted to watch the season for. I didn't want to see JC.
You didn't want to see
an
85-year-old Picard who can barely walk up the stairs and is not an action, even though he wasn't really an action person in the first one.
What was all that about? Like, hey, JL, how you doing? No, he's an ambassador in Starfleet. Nobody's calling him JL from the olden days.
Well, I guess after 15 years of you guys not being in the service and you guys are buddies.
They haven't spoken in that long because she lost her job when he resigned.
Well,
so it's not like
Picard's going to call Riker number one. Gonna call him Will.
Okay, but we're talking Jean-Luc Picard being called JL like he's some teenager.
That bugs Mark to no end. So we'll just leave this with that and just say, hey, MM, we'll see you next episode. ATM, we'll see you next episode. And hey, I'm Don. Hope you liked the video. We ranted like crazy. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people say the show is. Are we really anticipating the next series? No, but we'll probably watch it. It's probably.
But it wasn't as good as Paul says it is either. So.
So many jokes, but I won't say it because we're family friendly. Well, why not check out some of our other content down below? And until next time, we'll see you on the channel.